Dr. Fauci, I think it's fair to say, is the dictator, the petty lab coat tyrant, as you call him.
Also known as the science, Clay. He's the science.
He's doing, I think, right now, you would think, if the media were doing its job, they'd be questioning him about all of these intercept reports dealing with the gain of function research. He's doing an interview right now with the New York Times. I bet they don't even ask him about it. It's like a live chat interview or whatever. But Jen Psaki got asked about it in the White House press briefing yesterday. If you didn't hear this, most of the questions she gets are softballs, but this one was pretty detailed. Again, if you haven't read it, I would encourage you to just type in Fauci. We'll see whether or not Google allows you to find it. Type in Fauci intercept on Google and read the emails that further demonstrate that our tax dollars were going for gain-of-function research in Wuhan, where the COVID virus came from. And many people in the media are not paying attention to it, but Jen Psaki was actually asked about it yesterday. Here's what it sounded like.
The story about Dr. Fauci yesterday in The Intercept, the documents released that shows he was untruthful.
Oh, she runs right. By the way, that was Newsmax's Emerald Robinson, who is a
job.
fierce advocate for the truth and holding this administration accountable.
Well, good job by asking the question, and no surprise that Psaki was trying to run out without answering it. But you've seen a lot of news. I saw Josh Hawley, among other senators, that have demanded that Fauci resign and or be removed from his position. And honestly, if we had a honest media and if we had an honest political class, Fauci wouldn't be employed anymore, and also we'd have a major criminal investigation into his testimony.
Can we let's try to take a step back, Clay, from the yes. Do I think that Fauci is the most evil bureaucrat smurf in the history of the United States? I mean, probably, but we'll take a step back from the fact that I find this guy to be utterly detestable on many, many levels, and look at this in any other context. He is the most visible, most vocal architect, if you will, of our COVID response.
That's right.
We are now 18 months plus into this nightmare. We are in a worse place by the numbers now than we were a year ago under the Trump administration, pre-vaccine with Fauci in charge. If he were a general, he would have to resign because he is losing the war based in large part on the horrible decisions he's made. But he stays. He's the only person who can do this job. He's the only one we hear from.
Buck, we've got the NFL kicking off today. If Fauci were an NFL coach, he would have 100 billion% been fired already. We have a higher standard when it comes to football coaches than we do for the leader of our COVID response in many ways on behalf of the federal government.
And the reason that you and I both know Fauci isn't gone, and by the way, will not be gone until he chooses.
That's right.
Even though I think future, generations or historians, and when we finally get some clarity here, people are going to realize what utter madness this was. I mean, we're going to look back at this like the mask craze, the way people did the tulip craze when one bulb of tulip was worth more than like the entire output of a major nation at the time.
That's great. Also, it's going to be like Vietnam, I think, where all of these experts who told us the best and brightest minds got us into Vietnam, the best and brightest minds that led us in this deferment to science, even though it's not real science. I think this is going to be like that, where everybody eventually comes around and realizes how insane it's been.
But the reason Fauci has the job security, Clay, is because from the very beginning, he's a Democrat. I mean, that's obvious. And he has been identified with the science Democrats, the same people that talk about menstruating persons and all this stuff. Fauci has been their guru. Fauci has been, their figurehead, their symbol. And so they know that if he goes, people might start to say, wait a second. What exactly did that guy do, and why was he? So they'll keep him as long as he. Right now, I bet you the plan is for him to maybe retire with honor after the midterm election, when there's no possibility of political fallout from it. And you say that there's no accountability in government whatsoever in these bureaucratic roles. That's the problem.